The lessons for the young in baseball are learned from the first day you step onto the field. For the Cardinals newcomers, success has come early, but so has failure. Just ask Chris Duncan. As baseball veterans will tell you, the only way out of the bad times is through perseverance and hard work. The Marlins youngsters are experiencing the same growing pains. At times, they flex their muscle. At other times, they make foolish mistakes that cost their team dearly. Tonight, the education process continues from Busch Stadium 3. It's the Marlins and the Cardinals next on FSN Midwest. Having some fun tonight. It is game number 2 between the St. Louis Cardinals and the struggling Florida Marlins. They have dropped 7 straight. The Cardinals winners of 2 straight. A hot and muggy night in downtown St. Louis, and the youngsters have made a difference here in 2007. From Duncan to tonight's second baseman Brendan Ryan, to everybody talking about Rick Ankiel. Some youngsters on the other side for the Florida Marlins, but they are struggling, and they're anchored by Miguel Cabrera, one of the best in the game. Al Ramoski, Dan McLaughlin with you. Welcome to the broadcast booth. Scott Olson, a left-hander, will get the start for the Marlins, so an all right-handed lineup tonight for Tony La Russa. And for the Cardinals, it is Braden Looper, the former closer of the Marlins, helped them win a World Series title, but now he's in the starting rotation as of late, pitching very well.
He really is, Dan. He's gone out there and he's won 3 of his last 5 decisions, 4 of 7. He's already beaten the Florida Marlins once this year, so we expect a good performance again tonight.
So Looper gets the start for St. Louis, and for more on the Cardinals, the streaking Cardinals, downstairs to Jim Hayes.
Well, Dan, certainly the younger Cardinals have provided a spark. Ankiel's been great. Ryan Ludwig has the 11 home runs, and Brendan Ryan's hitting .349. Though Ludwig is 29, he doesn't like to be called a younger player. But certainly the looseness has rubbed off on some of the Cardinal veterans. Take, for example, Ryan, 4:30 today in the Cardinal dugout here. Wasn't aware he was starting tonight's ball game. He had yet to look at the lineup card. He's here, he's having a good time, and he's really just glad to be here. Coming up, Miguel Cabrera. How long did it take for him to round the bases tonight? We'll take a long look at that next. Back in downtown St. Louis for baseball tonight on FSN Midwest from Busch Stadium. Game 2 between the Cardinals and the Florida Marlins. Timing the trot, a couple of home runs last night. Ludwig on the right late in the game. Cabrera with number 30 on the left, and Al, he took a sweet old time.
Well, he knew it was a home run. Ludwig wasn't quite sure, but I like the style of Ryan Ludwig running the bases after hitting a home run a lot more than Cabrera, because you could have gone to the bathroom and back by the time he gets to home plate.
So number 30 for Cabrera, he's in the lineup tonight. He will bat third for Florida. For the Cardinals, all right-handed lineup. That means Ludwig and his 11 home runs are in left field. A look around the major leagues is coming up next, followed by our first pitch here on FSN.
I'm Pat Paris, back inside Busch Stadium. Cardinals, Marlins, first pitch just moments away on FSN. Right now, look at the other marquee matchup in the National League. Coming up at 8:40 Central Time, D-backs pitcher Brandon Webb puts his 42-inning scoreless streak on the line against the Milwaukee Brewers. Righty has not been scored upon in the last 5 outings, thrown 3 straight complete game shutouts. He'll be opposed by former Redbird Jeff Suppan, hasn't won in 2 months. It's Braden Looper against Scott Olson. It's up next on FSN Midwest. Enjoy the game. We'll see you afterwards.
Cardinals baseball on FSN Midwest is brought to you by refreshingly smooth Bud Light, always worth it. By Auto Tire, the tire pros. For the lowest bottom line price, you ought to go to Auto Tire. By Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. Welcome back to Busch Stadium. It's game 2 between the Florida Marlins and the St. Louis Cardinals. The struggling Marlins now in last place in the National League East. They are 16 games out. They have lost 7 straight. For Tony La Russa and the Cardinals, did not gain any ground, didn't lose any ground last night. They are 3 back in the Central and only 2 games below the 500 mark. Hanley Ramirez, an outstanding season, 165 hits this year, trailing only Matt Holliday of Colorado, followed by Uggla, then Cabrera.
Willingham, the left fielder, batting cleanup. Then Mike Jacobs, Olivo, the catcher, Hermida, the right fielder. Mazega is the center fielder, and Scott Olson, the pitcher, batting ninth. On the mound for the Cardinals, our Rico starter is Braden Looper, and his record stands out at 500. He's 10-10.
That's right. He making his 24th career start. 10 starts at Busch. He's gone 6-3 with a 3.50 ERA. And his last time out, just victimized by a 2-run home run to Jock Jones on Friday at Chicago, the only runs he allowed in a 2-1 loss.
Well, tonight we are in high definition. Contact your cable or satellite provider for more info. HD carriers tonight include Charter Communications on channel 792, Insight on channel 929, and Dish Network on channel 368. Crystal clear high definition for game 2 between the Marlins and the Cardinals. Hopefully we don't have a game like Texas and Baltimore today. Texas leading Baltimore 24-3.
Be all right if it were the Texas side of things.
Strike to Hanley Ramirez, who made that costly error late in the ball game last night for Florida. But you look at those numbers, partner, and he has had just a terrific season.
Absolutely. Yesterday he started on top of the National League in batting average. He's fell down to 5th place now.
Ramirez out to left field, coming on Ludwig. He'll make the catch. Everybody talks about Jose Reyes, but take a look real closely at what's happening down in Florida with Ramirez. The defense brought to you by Auto Tires. We go around the horn. Ludwig in left. So Taguchi in center. Juan Encarnacion is in right. Scott rolling over at third after a day off, and David Eckstein is at short. Brendan Ryan moves from third to second. Albert Pujols is at first, and yet again behind the plate, Yadier Molina. Cardinals will have one off day from here until the end of the season. So Tony La Russa taking this opportunity with a left-hander on the mound to go all right-handed. And really, the numbers don't bear that right-handers are that much better as opposed to left-handed batters against Scott Olson. But trying to get some time off for guys that need it.
We'll talk about that when we talk about Olson, see where righties and lefties bat. But La Russa playing a little short-handed as Aaron Miles flew back to California. His wife was about to give birth, and we can announce right now that Courtney Miles gave birth to Jackson Tyler, a little boy, this afternoon, and so their second child, and not sure when Aaron will come back, but he'll come back with a smile on his face.
Hit hard to Scott Rowland. 2 outs. Good start for Looper. 2 up, 2 down, and it brings in Miguel Cabrera.
There you see Papa teaching his son all the little intricacies of the game of baseball.
I was told by a gentleman last night that came with his son about that age, and they sat in the upper deck. He said it was better than sitting down in the first row. He said that his son could see the game and see what was happening better than being down in the first row, which makes a little sense.
Sure it does.
But I like the first row.
Well, I know you're that kind of guy. If you want something in between for this weekend, there still are seats available in the Pavilion Reserve. And
I just told you I want the first row.
Well, you have to call the Prime Seat Club if you want to get those kind of seats. And I know you've got the wherewithal.
We've got connections, Al.
If somebody wants to get Pavilion Reserve or Pavilion box seats, you can do that for Saturday and Sunday.
A 3-0 Cabrera right down central.
And then you got September 1st start the series with the Reds. Well, it actually starts on the 31st. Ton of seats available for that weekend.
That's strike 2, full count on Cabrera. After falling behind, 3 balls and no strikes. On deck, it's Willingham. Cabrera hit number 30 here last night. He's got 91 driven in. In the air out to deep right field on the move. The former Marlin Encarnacion makes the catch on the track. Cardinals coming up in their half of the first, and there's no score. I think we just saw Tony La Russa smile between innings.
No way.
Yeah, I think it's the 5th time documented in his 12 years here in St. Louis.
Well, he just heard about Miles's new baby. That's why.
Cardinals lineup for Tony La Russa. Eckstein, Taguchi, and Pujols. So 17 games against the Marlins, a home run, nearly a .400 average. Then Encarnacion, Roland, and Ludwig. Molina, the pitcher, batting 8th. That's Looper. And Brendan Ryan in the 9th spot in the lineup. It's been a real tough year off the field for Scott Olson. We'll get into that as this game progresses. And his numbers brought to you by Advance Auto Parts, a record of 9-10.
Well, and he's really struggled on the road. 2-6, 6.50 ERA, where the opponents are batting .344 against him. Lefties are batting .320 with 3 home runs. Righties .290 with 16 home runs.
Here's David Eckstein.
And Danny is pitching better since he's been tasered.
And you're being serious.
He's got 3 quality starts since he was tasered. Not smart to resist arrest.
No. 1 ball, 1 strike. Eckstein with a base hit last night. He was 1 for 4. Out to left center field. Amazega makes the catch near that Bud Light sign. And that's out number 1. Defense behind Olson tonight brought to you by Auto Tire. Willingham in left, Hermitas in right, then Cabrera, Ramirez, Ugla, Jacobs along the infield. And behind the plate, it is Miguel Olivo. It's 94 degrees, our game time temperature here in St. Louis. And the sleeves for Scott Olson being worn tonight.
Scott Olson is only 23 and well documented some of his fights with his own teammates, and some of the problems off the field, but he is a talent.
Suspended by the club at one point for a fight altercation in the dugout, and then a few days after that the incident with the police. At the age of 23, he can straighten things out in a hurry. And with his kind of talent, teams will stick with him.
Well, and there's some people kind of talking about too that, you know, if he's convicted of that felony, that the Florida Marlins have kind of stated they don't want him on their team.
Count of 3-2 on So Taguchi with Pujols on deck. Kind of goes with our theme too, what we talked about as we watched our open, the youth, both these teams. And with youth comes mistakes on and off the field. Into center field, and that's a base hit. Amezega is the center fielder, and he's listed as an infielder. They're trying to get him into the lineup, so he's in center. That was the case when we were in Florida. Still finally in here to Busch Stadium. Live look there near the Stan the Man statue. Albert Pujols 1 home run shy of 30. One out and a runner at first. Pujols has been red hot. 81 driven in now. Average at .321. That one hit, the home run last night out to left. Got the Cardinals on the board.
Homered in 4 straight games, 5 of his last 6, and he has had an RBI in 6 straight games. 11 of his 13 home runs since the All-Star break have been solo shots, and 11 of those 13 have come on the road.
Short lead at first by So Taguchi. One ball and 2 strikes on Albert. Ball he hit last night was a rocket. Pujols in his first season had 37 home runs. The lowest amount he has had is 34 back in '02. And it's been as high as 49. That was last year. Sets up inside, and the 1-2 is fought off, fouled back. Trying to get in on his hands, and Pujols still such a good hitter out with 2 strikes, able to spoil the pitch.
A lot of times when pitches are thrown inside, all you want to do is really, and I'm talking about a good pitch inside, is just foul it off. But a lot of pitchers make a lot of mistakes trying to go in and don't get in far enough. Attempted again.
Albert out to deep left field. There is number 30 on its way, and it's out of here into the bullpen. 2-0 St. Louis, and Pujols is limping around the bases, and number 30, an emphatic shot into the Marlins bullpen. 2-0 Cardinals.
Now, we just talked about how a lot of guys make mistakes trying to go in, and they do not go in far enough. You'll see the location is exactly what I was talking about. We'll keep an eye as he went around the bases. He stopped limping, but tried to go in, and look where that ball is. Up, out over the plate, and Albert now has hit, in 5 straight games, he's hit a home run, and 6 in the last 7 games.
Pitch inside to Encarnacion. Olsen knew it right off the bat.
It didn't take long to figure that one out.
Now, Pujols, we saw him limping around the bases. He's been dealing with a leg problem that he's been pretty quiet about for pretty much the entire season. But did you see anything last night that would lead you to believe that it would be worse tonight?
No.
Slowly hit to third. Charging is Cabrera. Encarnacion is out number 2.
Olsen now has allowed 20 home runs on the season. That's what the Cardinals need. Jump out, get a lead. They have scored the fewest runs in the first inning any team in the major leagues. It's only their 47th run in the first inning, and they have given up 84.
So Pujols now is homered in 5 straight and in 6 of his last 7.
So yeah, Scott Rowland reacts after the day off.
RBIs for Pujols in 7 straight games. And usually with Rowland, the next day after that off day is a productive one.
Right.
Normally you find Tony La Russa in that spot in the dugout, but he just, I'm sure, went back in the clubhouse maybe to check on Pujols.
I think I would.
Oh yeah. 2-2 on Scott Rowland.
And you hope he just went to look at the video and admire his 30th home run of the season.
Popped up, backing up the second baseman. Uggla makes the catch. Some folks miss that home run. Late arrivals here at the ballpark, and if you missed it, number 30 off the bat of Pujols, no doubt about it, into the bullpen of the Marlins. After 1, 2-zip St. Louis.
You're watching FSN Midwest, where Cardinals fans come first.
FSN final score coming up later tonight. Highlights of the Angels and Yankees on the West Coast. The Indians and the Tigers. Very important series there in the Central, the American League. The only national show that gives you nothing but wall-to-wall highlights. The FSN final score tonight at 10:30. See Pujols over there at first. Slow to take to the field here in the second. Infielders are waiting for him to come back out. We all were. And he's been stretching since he came out there. And we think we have a replay of a pitch which he might have hurt himself, but not sure exactly what he did here.
Swing there, and you watch how his left leg looks a little stiff, flexing the right knee, but it was the left leg that kind of looked awkward. Took a little time before he got back in the batter's box, and a little stiff-legged on that left side. As he got further along the bases, it looked like he stretched out a little better on his home run trot.
It's one way to stretch it out.
Yeah, I mean, and we won't time that one because we knew that there was a physical aspect that delayed his round trip.
2-1 the count on Josh Willingham. Left fielder for the Marlins, followed by Jacobs and Olivo. 2-0 Cardinals here in the second. Count of 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Willingham has 19 home runs, and as soon as he gets to number 20, the Marlins will be the first team in the majors to have 4 guys with 20 or more home runs.
All at the top of their lineup, too. Ramirez, Ugla, Cabrera, and then Willingham. Popped up. Molina throws the mask. Foul territory with a play. First out.
Good start for Looper, retiring the first 4 men in a row.
Yeah, with Looper, it was a situation on again, off again every 5th day. Got off to the great start, then struggled in months 2 and 3 of the regular season. And then it was every other start in which he was very good, but now he's been able to string together consecutive starts.
All right, 6-1 with an ERA under 2 in 8-day starts. But the telling tale is his ERA and his wins and losses. He has a ERA of 1.89 in his 9 wins. His ERA in his 10 losses is 9.72. And then he's got 3 no decisions at 3.32. Get a pretty good indication of what's going to happen by that ERA.
This is Jacobs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cardinals start play tonight. 3 games back in the Central. Milwaukee at Arizona tonight. Jeff Suppan 8-10 for the Brewers against Brandon Webb, trying to make history. He's 13-8, and right now he is the best pitcher on the planet.
He has 42 scoreless innings in succession. You can't get excited about him breaking Hershiser's record until after he throws another shutout or 2.
Chicago is at San Francisco. Swing and a miss. Strikeout of Jacobs. First strikeout tonight for Looper. Right where Yadier was asking for it. And there's 2 outs.
Right down there for the strikeout. Or if that was a splitter.
There's Miguel Oliva with 2 outs and nobody on. For Chicago tonight at the Giants, Rich Hill against Barry Zito. Zito is 9-11. Breaking ball and a strike.
Looper looks sharp right now, hitting the spots, throwing a lot of strikes. 14 of his first 21 pitches have been strikes.
Hangs that pitch, and it's hammered out to left, and the Marlins are going to get on the board with a long home run off the bat of Miguel Olivo. It's 2-1. His 12th home run this season.
Came out of the game earlier this week with last week with a leg injury. Trainer caught last night and had 3 hits to tie his career high, but Olivo, everyday catcher, he's back there with his 12th home run. Of late, about the only way to score against Cardinal starters is to hit a home run. See where Molina, target down, and then the hanging breaking ball.
Fastball on the outside corner. Jeremy Hermida. Big things are expected from him. Hitting .272 this year.
And almost 100 points better on the road than he is at home.
Left-handers pounded Looper a year ago. It's been a category that he has improved upon dramatically this season. No balls and 2 strikes. Got to the point where Tony was hesitant to bring him in against any kind of left-handed batters. But all of a sudden, we saw Looper in the final month and a half. It was about this time last year. You see this year, they're hitting .296, which still is a lot better than a year ago. Righties at .254. It was about this time where Looper put it all together. 2 strikeouts in the game, and both in this inning for Braden Looper. Ludwig, Molina, and Looper coming up. Famous statue just outside of Busch. 2-1 Cardinals. Cardinals in the month of August. This is our fourth key. You take a look at what they've done with batting average and runs per game, but to me, Al, the most important thing is ERA, and the starting pitching has been very good. 3.72 ERA total for the Cardinals in the month of August.
And going to have to probably average a little bit more run support, as the Cardinals are just 10-9 in August, even with that good pitching.
Here is Ryan Ludwig, who homered last night. Looks at a strike on the inside corner. Brian Runge is our home plate umpire. Mark Wegner is over at first. Remember, last time we saw him was in Washington, and he ejected Tony La Russa, and it was on a check swing by the man at the plate, Ludwig. Mike Winters at second base. Bruce Fremming over at third.
Home runs, third on the club, and 37 RBIs, 8 game-winning RBIs for Ludwig.
Ludwig rips it out to left. Cardinals with 3 hits here. You watch Ludwig, he does not get cheated.
One thing about him is it's a bit exciting because the ball kind of jumps off his bat, swings like a man, and it jumps off the bat like a man. He's had a very solid season. Yesterday was at the batting cage. Hal McRae and Ludwig were talking, and Hal said, you know, you concentrate too much on that. It was a 245 batting average, but he hit a home run late last night. He got a base hit here. He said, don't worry about that. I'd rather have you hitting 245 with your production than to have you hitting 320 with half the home runs and half the RBIs. And I threw in the 8 game-winning RBIs. 3 of his 10 pinch hits lead the club, and 8th in the league have been pinch hit home runs.
And a double play ball. 6-4-3. So enough of those last night, didn't we?
Sure did.
How about a ticket update? If you're looking for seats for tomorrow's series finale with Florida or this weekend's games against Atlanta, Prime Seat Club at STLCardinals.com, the best way to do it. And there are pretty good seats coming up for a few of these games. Saturday, close to 1,000 left. That will be against the Atlanta Braves. Saturday, September 1st, lots of tickets. About 2,000 remain for that game. So Prime Seat Club, best way to get your seats. Pitcher is batting 8th, and on that game day program, it is on the cover, Red Shandies, and Tony La Russa closing in on red.
Dave Tremblay, the interim manager at Baltimore, was just notified today that he'd be back for next season. It's a good thing it happened before the game.
His team really responded, didn't they?
Yeah, they lost 30-3 as they allowed 29 hits, and that's the first of a doubleheader.
30
runs.
Shallow left center field, and the catch is made. So we have played 2. 8th place hitter for the Marlins is coming up. It's 2-1 St. Louis. This portion of Cardinal baseball on FSN Midwest is brought to you by Kia Motors. Kia, the power to surprise. By Rico, move your ideas with Rico dependability. And by the new chicken grilled taquitos from Taco Bell. Taco Bell, think outside the bun. Along with Al Hrabosky, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Cardinals with a lead of 2-1 thanks to an Albert Pujols home run. His 30th this season. Take a look at our Geico quote tonight. If a horse won't eat it, I don't want to play on it. Dick Allen, our Geico quote.
Frank McGraw had a good one about it too. Talking about artificial turf.
Can you say it or not?
No.
That's the kind of insight I'm looking for from you, Hrabosky.
I can't remember. I just remember he had a good one. I remember the context of it, but not the official quote.
Trying to think.
So it wouldn't fit Geico.
Okay.
Because they're precise.
teams that are on turf now would be, let's see, the Toronto Blue Jays. They play on what is now that field turf. Down at Tropicana with Tampa Bay, they've got the turf. Popped up on the infield. Looper screaming rolling. That means Scott rolling. And that's the first out to start play here in the top of the third. It's a bonus when you can win games when Rolen sits or Pujols sits.
Sure.
Cardinals did that yesterday. And here is Scott Olson, pitcher who wears number 34, number that used to be worn by A.J. Burnett. Is now in Toronto.
Lost the game today, and his record's only 7-7.
A lot of visits to the DL. Even his own general manager has questioned whether or not he's been hurt at times. The Florida Marlins have not been in existence that long, and yet they've got no hitters. They've got not just one, but 2 World Series championships. A.J. Burnett, one of those no hitters. Kevin Brown had one. Al Leiter had another. And they picked up number 4 last year.
Sanchez.
Right. I believe the game that Burnett picked up the no hitter, he walked 9. 2-2 the count. Sometimes the best trades are the ones you don't make, like the Cubs with Jock Jones, or the best signings that don't happen are the best things to happen to you. Cardinals could fall in that category as they looked at A.J. Burnett. This is drilled out to right center field. That's trouble. Couple of hops off the wall, and Olson will stop at second base. 1-out double for Scott Olson. Went down and got it.
Oh, it's down and in.
Pitch count brought to you by Sonic at 33 for Looper. This looked to be a pitch that was perfect for a hitter from the left side. Down and in.
Down and in. Just kind of drop that bat head. Most lefties are kind of low ball hitters. This is just a pure hitter.
General managers will say that they want to make deals that benefit both clubs. And for Boston, they get Josh Beckett. He has been terrific this year. For the Marlins, it is their shortstop of now and of the future, and that is Hanley Ramirez.
And who's looking for a shortstop?
The Boston Red Sox. Signed Julio Lugo in the offseason. You think about some of the pitchers that have been down in Florida and how well they have drafted. It's been Beckett, Brad Penny, Mark Redmond, who was an all-star a year ago, Dontrell Willis still with the club, and Carl Pavano has had all kinds of problems for the Yankees, but he was their opening day starter this year. There's a look at Dontrell. The Cardinals will not see him in this series.
Yeah, Mark Redmond, that was just yesterday. He signed with Colorado. He's been with 4 different organizations this year.
After being an all-star with the Kansas City Royals last year, he started this season with Atlanta. But he was looking for a job, too, at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. Where will Dontrell be next year?
They say that ownership loves him, and they're trying to get a new ballpark, and they feel that he has enough pull with the fan base. Catch is made by Ludwig on the track, and he might have saved a run. Also might have hurt his knee.
He's had some injuries, and knees have been a problem, but he hauls in a ball that was just absolutely smoked. Reaches up to the last second, hauls it in, and there you see bangs into the padded lower portion and the chain link up there. He's a little awkward, but that ball was just scorched. And Braden Looper has to appreciate that defense. You know, it's one thing. I mean, Ramirez hit 2 balls right in the nose. Ludwig gets great jumps, but that was a tremendous play right there for a guy that we have praised in every aspect of his game this year.
Not just his game, how about his personality, too?
Oh, yeah.
Always at the ballpark, smiling, laughing, having fun. And one of his best friends on this team is Rick Ankiel. And when Ankiel was called up, he and Ludwig were text messaging each other till about 2:30 in the morning. And he said, outside of Ricky Ankiel, I am the happiest guy in this organization to see him come up because we are very, very close. I understand some of my playing time is going to be diminished because of his call up. I've got no problem with it.
And the way Duncan is slumping, you know, it's nice to have another alternative to go to, you know, Ludwig and Ankiel. Encarnacion's starting to swing the bat much better, so he's getting the majority of playing time in right field and a little bit of a platoon out in left.
Boy, that was a good play out and left. Ugla grounded out to Scott Rowland his first time up. 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 outs and the tying run at second base. Just joined us. Pujols homered in the first. His 30th on the year. 1-2. Cardinals had a couple of instructors at the major league level that helped during spring training, in particular with the outfielders, Larry Walker being one and Dave McKay being the other. This at 4 o'clock, what we're talking about with Ludwig and Ankiel.
Almost looked like Ludwig was saying, Rick, your glove's almost too pliable. You have to have a little bit of that rigidness at the top of the glove so it can hold in hard hit balls like that.
People today still were talking about Ankiel's throw at Wrigley Field from Monday afternoon. As Looper wants to talk it over now with Molina.
See, I don't quite get that. And I asked Rick about it too, and I said, are you surprised that people are keep on questioning your ability to throw? And he goes, yeah. You know, I mean, the thing is, he can throw. You know, he was a pitcher. He had trouble throwing strikes, but he doesn't have time to think about those kind of throws, so his muscle memory just takes over. And it wasn't health of his arm was not the issue as to why he stopped pitching.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. I think maybe it's just the fact that it is eye-popping to see a guy, even at this level, throw as well as Ankiel does. And I see where you're coming from, Al. But some of the throws that he has had even already have just been eye-popping because he's such a tremendous athlete and the fact that his arm is that good. I mean, it's one of the best right now of any outfielder in the major leagues. You would agree with that, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, I'll go with there, and I'll say it's not the biggest statement in the world because guys don't throw. No infield anymore. No outfield practice. I mean, they'll throw a little bit here and there, but.
And that's what I mean. It's eye-popping to see a guy actually throw like he does. You just don't see it. 3-2.
The guys that can throw are usually the guys that will work on that aspect of it.
I don't know if you were watching the pregame yesterday. Mike Shannon was with us live, and I know you had a chance to see Mike play, and people raved about his arm. And he said, when I was a little kid, I picked up anything I could throw. Rock, baseball, football, didn't matter. And he said, I just don't think kids do that at all anymore.
No.
Pitch that's up. But Looper will get away with it. A fly out to Encarnacion. The catch to break. Ludwig supplying a little help out in left field. Off the bat of Hanley Ramirez, takes a hit and an RBI away. It's 2-1 St. Louis. This State in Baseball history brought to you by Schnucks. Glenn Brummer steals home in the 12th inning to give the Cardinals a win over the Giants August 22nd, 1982. So 25 years ago, we flash back. Watch where this pitch is. Some believe that's a strike.
Yeah, it was a 3-2 pitch. The umpire forgot to call the pitch. And that ended the ball game because it was in the bottom of the 9th inning. Grummer threw out the first pitch here today to his manager, Whitey Herzog. Excuse me, bottom 12, but it was the end of a game. So the protest fell on deaf ears.
Mike Shannon was jumping out of his seat.
Umpire forgot to call the pitch. It looked like it was strike 3.
One of the famous calls in Cardinal history.
With 2 outs, would have been over. Or not been over, but inning would have been over.
So here is Brendan Ryan. Struggled a little bit defensively at third last night, but still the offense has been very good. 4 home runs and hitting .349. The 1-0 pitch.
Well, he made the tough part. He got to the ball, caught it, but then he threw wide.
2 positions he really hasn't played in his professional career in the minor leagues, second base and third. Or rather, second base and third. He's seeing extensive time there, and primarily was a shortstop coming up through the minor leagues. 1-2 the count.
25, and he had just a wasted year last year with a wrist injury.
Back to Olsen. And Ryan is retired for the first out. Tomorrow, tune in as the Cardinals will battle the Marlins here from Busch Stadium. Again, we're in high definition. Razor sharp clarity of HD. Catch the Cardinals in high definition on FSN Midwest tomorrow beginning at 6. Happy sweet 16th birthday, Jeannie Plead. Enjoy Cardinal baseball tonight. Eckstein out in front, pops it up. Oliva will give it a look, and it's out of play.
Cleveland's taking it to Detroit again, where the Indians batting in the top of the 6th, leading the Tigers 8-3, and Sheffield's been taken out of that game with a shoulder injury. So
into left center field, and a base hit for Eckstein. Plunks one down. 1 for 2, and it brings in Taguchi. Friday, September 7th, a limited number of Cardinal fans will have the opportunity to spend the entire night on the field. It's the annual Cardinals campout presented by Bass Pro Shops and Tracker Boats. All campers will also receive a sleeping bag courtesy of Bass Pro Shops. For tickets or more information, head to the Cardinals website at stlcardinals.com or call 345-9600. Base hit and a run scored for Taguchi back in the first. So at the plate, and a runner at first. Think about a hit and run candidate. Runner goes, a throw down to second, and out is Eckstein. It's Jerry Greenfeld, one of the co-founders of Ben and Jerry's Ice Cream with Ben Cohen. Hot night like tonight. I'm sure a lot of folks enjoying Ben and Jerry's.
There's one right here at the ballpark. He and his wife took their son to college up in Iowa, and they came down here to check out some of the stores.
Ramirez, a long throw, and the pick at first. Nicely done by Mike Jacobs. We played 3, and it's 2-1 St. Louis. Miguel Cabrera leads it off here in the top of the 4th. Cardinals with a lead of 2-1. First pitch to him was taken for a ball inside. Happy 20th birthday to the Bethman twins, Danny and Andy. Enjoying baseball tonight here on FSN Midwest. Chopper, that's foul. Cabrera, his first time up, flied to right. And he finished just behind Freddie Sanchez for the batting championship a year ago, and he'll be in the thick of things again this year. One year ago today, hitting .339. 10 better in the home run department, though, this season. guess in today's day and age of professional sports, there are no untouchables. But if you're the Marlins, this guy has got to be. He's got to be the cornerstone along with Ramirez of your offense and your everyday players. But yet it seems like every year we hear his name in trade rumors.
Sure. And getting to that point where he's going to start making a lot of money, and that to a franchise that I'm trying to figure out where they're going to play. And Dan, how are you going to play at Joe Robbie if they're going to have football, both professional, and the University of Miami is now going to play there in 2008. So you're going to have Saturday and Sunday football games.
Strikeout, Cabrera for 2. And the field already gets beat up. Trying to fit that in is going to be tough. What happens when sports and science collide? Introducing the incredible new series that analyzes sports like you've never seen before. Don't miss the groundbreaking season premiere of Sports Science, September 30th at 9, right here on FSN Midwest. That's what I was saying before, the line out by Ramirez and the great play by Ludwig in left. Ownership has stated that Dontrelle Willis is not going anywhere because they feel he's got a loyal fan base, what's left of it after a couple of fire sales, to where if they do come out, one of the guys they come to watch is Dontrelle Willis.
Well, and even if you are forced to move.
Molina, 2 outs.
You'd like to think you'd go to a pretty, you know, to a new location that you'd want to show off some of that star power.
You can email the booth at foxsports.com. On MSN, the keyword is Cardinals Booth. foxsports.com on MSN, keyword Cardinals Booth. Looper has struck out 3 tonight. Allowed 2 hits and 1 run. The home run by Miguel Olivo, solo shot back in the second. Neither Florida team draws well. Tampa Bay or the Marlins. But the Marlins have had great success. When you look at what they've done, I mean, a lot of teams have been there and had chances to win a world championship or get into the playoffs and not do much with it. The Marlins have won 2 titles. And both times they have been a wild card. The 1-1.
Partly what's happened with Freddie Gonzalez's team this year is a lot of injuries, and you just don't have the depth that you can reach into that minor league system and keep on pulling up pitchers. They have actually played much better on the road. Even with last night's loss, they're only 3 games under 500 on the road because they're playing in front of nice crowds and energizes this young team.
I thought they'd be a very good team just because their pitching would keep them competitive.
Well, but they,
all the injuries.
Johnson, Sanchez, guys like that are injured and may not be back for next year.
2-2 pitch. It's rolling and foul. Molina was going to let that roll fair, never gained momentum. 2-2 the count.
Saw that Jacobs, the batter, was not running down the first base line, so go ahead and see if that ball might roll fair.
Jacobs struck out swinging first time up. The 2-2 is outside. It's this time last year that Joe Girardi still had the Marlins in contention. On his way to manager of the year. On his way to getting fired. 3-2 pitch. Tails back in there for a strikeout. Jacobs twice now has struck out. 2 strikeouts in the inning. Midway through 4, the Cardinals lead it thanks to Pujols and his 2-run shot. He leads it off when we come back on FSN Midwest. Well, if you're looking for the most comprehensive stories on the Cardinals, find them in one place. The Cardinal Game Day magazine is the place to go. Red Shandy's on the cover. Stories on Ryan Franklin, a couple of prospects and more. Number to call is 345-9000. 345-9000 to start your subscription. the Cardinals Game Day magazine. Pujols, Encarnacion, and Roland. Let's watch Albert now with these swings. Homered back in the first and then limped around the bases. That home run measured at 382 feet. Doesn't look to be affecting him too much.
Nice play by a youngster down there in the first row. Brought his glove and saved his family.
A rocket off the bat of Albert Pujols. That home run landed into the Marlins bullpen in the first, and the 0-2 pitch is tapped foul. So 30 home runs on his way to another 30-plus home run season. Over 100 RBIs more than likely for Albert. Another one is out to deep left field, and this ball is off the base of the wall, and only a single for Pujols.
That ball was hit as hard as the home run. Just never got any air underneath it.
So Pujols is 2 for 2.
Tried to come inside here. It's a breaking ball and left it out there. It's the front foot, comes up with that toe, and then you twist it there. Let's see how it comes out of the box. The ball just rifled out there and played perfectly as it hit the base of the wall, and Willingham retrieved it back to second.
Here's Encarnacion. Email from Chesterfield, and Dan wants to know about Albert Pujols and his consistency. How many years? Is this 4 or 5 that he's had 30-plus? Well, we can tell you it's now 7.
7, yeah.
Pujols in his 7th year in the major leagues. First year 37. Year 2 he had 34. Got past 40 in year 3. That was the year that he won the batting championship. He had 359 with 43 home runs. 04 he had 46. 05 he had 41. That was the MVP season. Last year 49.
He's already 7th on the Cardinals all-time RBI list, 2nd on the all-time home run list. Let's see, right around 280 in his career in 6+ years.
Encarnacion grounded out to third his first time up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Short lead at first by Albert. And the pitch is hit down the right field line, slicing out of play and foul. Well, for those of you just tuning in, we were talking about game 1 of a doubleheader. Texas over Baltimore, not a football score, 30-3. The most runs scored in the major leagues since June 28th. 1897.
It set a American League record for runs scored, and also a Texas pitcher got a save in that game.
Second double play turned by the Marlins, 6-4-3.
You hear that, Dan?
I did hear that. A save and a 30-3 game, and the reason why.
He pitched 3 innings.
That's right. Different ways to get that save. Hot night, but a beautiful night here in St. Louis. Glad you're with us on FSM Midwest. Cardinals with a 2-1 lead as we play here in the bottom of the 4th with 2 outs. And Scott Rowland, the hitter, with nobody on. He popped out to second his first time up. News was encouraging with Mark Mulder. He pitched 4 innings, rehab start. Ball game last night for Palm Beach. As Barry Weinberg is talking now with Tony La Russa, that's never a good sign. Hopefully he's just saying Albert's fine. Ramirez, couple of hops, fires over to first, and the Cardinals are through in their half of the 4th. Olivo, who is homered for the Marlins, leads it off. When we come back, it's 2-1.
Win a Samsung video sharing phone, a VIP tour of the ballpark, and watch a game from the green seats. It's the last shot of summer sweepstakes in stores at participating AT&T retail stores. There's Bruschi, as looked like did a little creative work on an old J.D. Drew jersey and made it Bruschi.
That is creative. I like that look. J.D. Drew.
I mean, you know, with temperatures today, I bet there's a little hydrating going on.
Some sort. Here's Olivo with his 12th home run, a solo home run back in the second.
There was a no doubter. It was over the visitors' bullpen.
At the knees, and that's a strike. Looper has been very sharp tonight. Only 2 hits allowed.
2 hits allowed. The home run by Olivo, and then a double by his counterpart, the starting pitcher Olson. He kept a lot of balls down. It was just a hanging breaking ball that hit the home run out.
1 ball and 2 strikes. 2-1 Cardinals here in the 5th. Talking about Mulder before we went to break, but the news is encouraging. He was hitting low 90s with his fastball, and the reports on his breaking ball was that it was very sharp, and the run that he gave up was unearned.
Yeah, another one of his own throwing errors.
Right. Hit sharply to the shortstop. That is David Eckstein. Time now for our Aflac trivia question with 1 out here in the top of the 5th. Cardinals leading by a run. Aflac. We cue the duck. He walks across, and we give you a question. Who holds the Cardinals' all-time record for career grand slams?
Is that a hint?
You would think. I was at Stan the Man Inc. today, visiting with your friend Dick Zitzman and our friend. 9 career grand slams for Stan the Man, and Stan's grandson was there as well. You want to give the phone number, Al?
Well, sure. 965-3000.
How did they come up with that 3,000?
3,000, of course, in a 314 area code for Stan the Man Inc.
It was a great picture that I was looking at with Red and Stan together. I was talking with Red about the fact that Tony will pass him. He says, I can't wait. He said, I'm not worried about it at all. He said, if he's still here and winning games, that means the Cardinals are playing well. It's pulled foul. Two and 2 the count on Hermida.
I mean, it was a strikeout victim the first time up. Hooper has 4 in the night.
At the knees and a strikeout, number 5. Hermida and Jacobs have struck out 4 of the 5 times.
And there's these left-handers that normally give him a little trouble, but
that's our Hardy's hot pitch. With these lefties, the way that ball tails back in, it'll be a tough pitch to hit. It's got a lot of movement.
got the cutter coming in on the left-handed batter, and then that ball that just tails back.
Mezaga slaps it to Roland. 1-2-3 go the Marlins here in the 5th. Ludwig, Molina, and the pitcher Braden Looper coming up. Cardinals on top by a run. It's 2-1. What's on tap is brought to you by Bud Light. Bud Light, always worth it. We take a look at the Bud Light What's on Tap, and tomorrow Anthony Reyes against Rick Vandenhurst. Saw him in Florida. He's 3-4 on the year, and Anthony is 2-12. The 17th start of the season tomorrow night, and we're in high definition at 6 o'clock here on FSM Midwest.
Anthony's 2-2 with an ERA in the 3s since he's come back. Most recent trip to the minor leagues, so pitching much better.
Some cotton candy on a hot night here in St. Louis. That won't be sticky at all. Ludwig on the first pitch, pops it up to the second baseman. A glove. One pitch, one out. Happy sweet 16th birthday to Sidney McLean. Sidney watching tonight. Happy 16th. Now that's what you need. You got to have the Dippin' Dots. Or the Ben and Jerry's.
Ice cream of the future. Ever had those?
Oh yeah. Al, I've got a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old. What do you think?
Stole it from them?
It's a nightly thing.
Dippin' Dots, though?
Dippin' Dots.
It's like paper.
I agree personally, but I'm forced to it. Last 90 innings thrown by the starters for the Cardinals, they've allowed earned runs in only 13 of them. Starting pitching has been a major reason why the Cardinals are back in this race.
Well, it's the reason why that you just didn't think that they were going to be able to pull off any stretch, because they were not getting consistent starting pitching, and that is exactly why they are in position to contend once again.
Molina grounded into a double play first time up. This is down the left field line. It hooks, and this ball is fair. Home run for Yadier Molina. His 4th on the year. Back to a 2-run lead, and it's 3-1 St. Louis. Hook that baby right down the line.
He had his first multi-hit game in Milwaukee. Now he hits another one here. And watch this pitch. Way out in front, an off-speed pitch, but he kept the hands back and just hooks it right down the line.
Looper, a big cut, fouled back. Molina now with 3 home runs in the last week. Had 2-in-1 game against Milwaukee, and now this solo shot. Barely fair off the bat of Yadier Molina.
Just enough distance and just inside the foul pole.
Little low to Looper, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cardinals with a 3-1 lead here in the bottom of the 5th. Playing some good baseball. 2-2.
Well, they have a little bit of a swagger, a little attitude again. They believe in themselves.
It's one of the things I've noticed big time.
Everybody pulling together in the same direction.
The 2-2 is hit into right field. That's a base hit. So the 8th place hitter, the pitcher Looper, with a base hit. Cardinal fans, bring your new and gently used baseball equipment to donate for area youth on Friday, August 24th. That will be against the Atlanta Braves. Look for the collection sites outside of each gate at Busch Stadium.
And it is official now. They have rescheduled the game. Rained out in Chicago on Sunday night. They rescheduled that for September the 10th to be played in Chicago at a 2:20 start.
So the Cardinals, this remaining schedule, will have just 1 off day. That's it.
That's Monday.
Yep.
And they play something like 35 games in the next 34 days. And we have to make up a rainout in New York on September 27th. One of the scheduled off days. We just lost September 10th off day. But you know, when you're going bad, you're going bad, aren't you?
Foul ball, caught Duncan. Liner into right, catch is made. Throwing to first, a little tardy, but backing up wisely is the catcher Olivo.
Sure got excited, didn't they?
Sure did.
Well, You know, sometimes it's the state of the game, how you have to point out how you have to, you know, give credit to a catcher just doing the simple thing, backing up a play.
Or what he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, we see guys don't do the little things, and yet Oliva did exactly what he was supposed to do. You know, you're supposed to go down the line a little bit and see that their looper had strayed quite a ways halfway to second base, so there was going to be a potential throw back to first base. So you get in position to back it up in case there's a high throw.
2 outs, and the first pitch to Eckstein is popped up. Olivo gives chase, runs out of room. David Eckstein singled and was caught stealing back in the third. He's also flied out to center. As you know, Al, I'm involved with a wonderful charity here in town, Friends of Kids with Cancer. And this Saturday they have an event called The Hunt at the City Museum, which is a scavenger hunt for all kids. They've got bands and lunch, DJ, games, and clowns will be there. That is this Saturday from 11 to 3 for a benefit for kids with cancer. Hope to see you there at the City Museum this Saturday. Yadier Molina going deep down the left field line. His 4th home run of the season, a solo shot, and it's 3-1. Cardinal Baseball is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Try the new sirloin burger, 100% sirloin, your choice of cheese and onions, only at Jack in the Box. By Chrysler, engineered beautifully. And by U.S. Cellular, we connect with you. Dan and Al back with you here at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals now with a 3-1 lead over Florida. Yadier's 3rd home run in his last 6 games. And prior to that, he had not hit a home run since April 27th. And the one you expect to hit a home run, Albert Pujols, has done so again tonight, a 2-run shot back in the first.
Jake Peavy's at it again. He's got a 4-2 lead at Shea Stadium, but he has 11 strikeouts through 6 innings.
Pitcher Scott Olson to lead off the 6th, 3-1 Cardinals. Olson double to right center his first time up. The Marlins with just 2 hits. 2 balls and 1 strike. The 2-1 grounder that Pujols has. Good play. Leads looper. Olson retired. He stung the ball a couple of times.
It's hitting 190 coming in. Hey, Dan. You forgot your slippers.
The Fredbird slippers.
Those ones you had on last night, weren't they?
Well, you were at the ballpark, Al, and I was home enjoying your broadcast. How would you know if I had those on? Are you going to lie to our viewing audience?
All right, well, you just did.
Oh, I took in every word that you said last night.
There's a lightning bolt going to strike us in a second.
And you're right, it's going to strike both of us. Here is Hanley Ramirez. He was robbed by Ludwig last time up, and he's 0 for 2.
I was a little shocked after Benitez and some of his gesturing and upset with Ramirez's error last night in the 8th inning that led to the 4 unearned runs. That they showed up at the ballpark saloon together. Benitez,
That's
Cabrera.
between the white lines, Al, and such a long season afterwards.
Well,
you got to just.
If you weren't sleeping,
I wasn't sleeping, Al.
You would have noticed that they didn't look like they were best of friends during the game in the 9th inning.
Well, not only did I watch last night, but made sure to catch the replay.
Now I really know.
Never miss a word that you say. But those two show up at your fine establishment, and all is forgotten now.
Yeah, Cabrera was there. Everything. They were all checking out the scenery.
Sure, they were going over the play last night. What took place?
Couldn't wait to see the replay.
2-2 the count on Hanley Ramirez. Another ball that's ripped.
Another nice play. A young lady now. Yeah.
I was saying before, Al, I mean, a lot of people look at Jose Reyes, say he's the most exciting player in the game of baseball, one of the best shortstops in the game, and overlooked is this guy.
Well, not by the people in the game. And his 23 home runs, 39 steals get your attention. 64 RBIs from the leadoff man and a 335 average coming in. Hit the ball hard twice tonight, nothing to show for it.
3-2 the count.
And he does have 20 errors on the season, but many of them, like last night, where he just kind of bored with the play and lackadaisical throw.
Pulls a breaking ball foul. We're sold out again tonight here in St. Louis. Figure that might energize this young Marlins team.
Well, I think it is. I think that's why they play so much better on the road, is they're playing in front of larger crowds.
Scott rolling. 2 outs. Well, FSM Midwest is proud to co-sponsor the Doing It Right school education program with the Cardinals, and the program encourages local students to make the right choices about education and health. Earlier tonight, we recognized Chester Elementary School with our Doing It Right School Spirit Award, and the school was honored on the field prior to the game for their outstanding school participation in the program. And congratulations to you, Al, and the folks here at the ballpark that put that together. I know that's a lot of hard work you guys put in through not just the school year, but the entire year.
Well, it's a lot of fun, and Joe Cunningham started that program 20 plus years ago, and still going strong, going to the elementary school, a free program.
That's a base hit out to left off the bat of Ugla.
And it's really evolved into an anti-drug message, and it's something necessary even to go down into the elementary schools and interactive, about a 50-minute program. So we encourage all elementary schools to contact the Cardinals, as Joe Cunningham or Fred Bird or myself and Fred Bird will be out to your school and put on that assembly. It's a lot of fun.
2 outs, and now you bring the tying run to the plate. Miguel Cabrera, who is 0 for 2. He's fly to right and he struck out.
Chester was recognized because they had the best decorated school that we went to all last year.
Cabrera high in the air, should stay in the ballpark, and it will. Over to get it, Encarnacion puts it away for the third and final out, and that dangerous bat is 0 for 3 tonight. Taguchi, Pujols, and Encarnacion. Will we see the Cardinals in the Fall Classic? The 06 World Champs? Well, we've got it right here on Fox in high definition. Tim McCarver and Joe Buck. Postseason baseball coming this October to Fox. So Taguchi leads it off, followed by Albert Pujols and Juan Encarnacion. An email from Paul in St. Louis wants to know about J-Rod. J-Rod is done for the year, out with knee surgery, so he will not be called up, and the same could be said for Preston Wilson. His year is done as well. J-Rod was in St. Louis briefly when the Cardinals got their World Series rings. Came up for that game and then was sent down. Obviously, he was not part of the roster, but was up with the club for the ceremony prior to the game. And that's the last we have seen of him in St. Louis.
I think he's pretty much done for the season. He had knee surgery.
Right.
And you know, their season closes out the end of August, so I think he was, you know, due back about the time the season was to end.
2-1 on So Taguchi. Singled and scored on the home run by Pujols back in the first. And So hits it down the right field line, but slicing foul and out of play. So Taguchi 1 for 2 on the night.
Got a free ride around the bases on Pujols' 30th home run of the year.
And that's pulled foul. The count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. Three-1 Cardinals here in the 6th, and So taps it foul again. Pitch count for Olsen only at 71, now 72 after that last pitch.
51 of those 72 pitches have been strikes.
And Taguchi strikes out to start the bottom of the 6th.
Rare game where no walks by either pitcher.
Well, Pujols has hit a couple of rockets off his bat tonight. Back in the first, home run measured at 382 feet, number 30 on the season, now with 83 RBIs, and hit a single off the base of the wall back in the 4th. 1 out, nobody on. First pitch to Albert, taken low and outside. This is supposed to be an off year for Pujols, and yet he's going to wind up hitting close to 330, over 30 home runs, and over 100 RBIs. That's an off year.
That's an off year. I mean, he set the standards awfully high. First 6 years. What would you say about 330, about 35 home runs and 125 RBIs, something like that, 130 RBIs.
You know what was interesting about that last play, the non-pitch? I'm not sure it was ever granted by the home plate umpire. It was a high throw by Olsen over to first, and yet it was the catcher then that stopped Olsen. All for naught, doesn't matter as Pujols grounds out. And I'm sure, Al, if you were teaching a pitcher, fielding a comebacker, don't lob it, throw it.
No, he's done that twice and very close to throwing the ball away. Do your same good fundamentals, you know, take a little crow hop. Don't have to throw a BB over there, but you got to throw it with a little bit of firmness to, you know, just so it doesn't sail on you.
One 1-0 pitch to Juan. 2-0. As you mentioned, the playing time has been diminished for Duncan with the lefty on the mound tonight. No left-handed bat in this lineup. Those cuties watching the ball game here at Busch Stadium. In the air out of shallow right center field, and the catch is made. Cardinals go in order here in the bottom of the 6th. Willingham, Jacobs, Olivo, who was homer tonight, coming up. It's 3-1. Cardinals lead it 3-1. Looper back to work, and boy, has he been efficient tonight. 85 pitches as we start the 7th.
Both starters have been efficient. Part of that is they have not walked a man. Looper has struck out 5, scattered 3 hits. Just the only blemish was the solo home run by Olivo in the second inning. Olson allowed a 2-run home run by Pujols in the first, and then Yadier Molina hit a home run in the fifth.
.55 strikes out of the 86 pitches for Looper. The 0-2 to Josh Willingham is in the dirt.
Franklin is throwing in the Cardinal bullpen. As the Cardinals will, Dave Duncan and Tony La Russa will be a little concerned with guys like Looper, first year in the rotation. Late in the game, you get up your pitch count up around that 80-90 pitches, and you're kind of a little bit concerned. You get 6 innings out of that starter, everything kind of falls in place for the bullpen. Question to me is, do you bring back Izzy for a 3rd straight day?
We asked Tony about that in the pregame show, and he said, good question. I'm not too sure at this point.
Yeah, kind of depends on the game and the flow of it.
Fouled back right below us.
First ball has been used quite a bit. He probably could stand to have a day off.
What was it, Al, in Chicago? The 2-inning save was only 16 pitches for Izzy, I believe, in that final game.
I think it was a little more than that.
That's past Rowland into the corner and off the side wall. Leadoff double for Willingham, and now the tying run comes to the plate. First base hit for Josh Willingham, and it brings in Jacobs.
See how far off the line is Scott Rowland, and just barely misses it. Guard did a nice job of getting himself out of the way, but he forgot to take a stool, and then I think it caromed off the stool, but it was going to be a double either way if it got down into the corner or if it hit the stool and kicked back towards the playing surface.
So it was 16 pitches Monday, 17 yesterday.
We've had a lot of games that he's performed in where he's thrown a lot more than that in one inning, let alone 2.
So leadoff double, and Jacobs now digs in. He has struck out twice. Looper has struck out 5 on the night. Tony, call to the bullpen. Is this going to be it?
Takes his glasses off and walks up those steps. That's an indication. And here he comes, going to make a double switch, so he'll check in with the home plate umpire. First thing is you make the double switch.
Looper's going to get a nice round of applause. Very good tonight. 4 hits and only 1 run allowed. Here comes Franklin. He will pitch here in the 7th.
Well, you wonder if he's going to take Encarnacion out. Yeah, that would be the double switch. Ludwig's going to go to right field. Taguchi's going to go to left field, and so you would assume Jim Edmonds, and there he pops out, will be going out to his customary center.
Let's hear the response for Looper as he exits, and we head to break. Call to the bullpen is brought to you by Chevrolet. 53rd appearance for Ryan Franklin. A record of 4-2 on the season. ERA is under 2. He's had a fine year, and the Cardinals lead it by the score of 3-1 here in the top of the 7th. Franklin will face Jacobs, and Willingham is at second base. Jacobs struck out twice against Braden Looper. Now he gets Franklin. First pitch to him. Ground ball up the middle. That's a base hit. Willingham is going to be waved in, and he will score. It's now 3-2. So Franklin, 1 pitch, gives up the base hit and the RBI charge to Looper.
6+ innings for Looper. 2 runs, both of them earned on 4 hits. He strikes out 5, doesn't walk a batter, and gives up a 1 home run. Ball stayed up there a little bit, and Jacob gets the base hit up the middle. Willingham will come around and score. You know, Tyler Johnson has not been used since last Wednesday, and really since coming off the disabled list, he hasn't had his real good command. So you almost get the feeling that instead of bringing in a lefty in this situation, you know, you save Flores for a little later on, and maybe Tyler later on, depending on the situation. But Tyler even hinted about it yesterday, that it's hard for them to have a lot of trust in him right now because he doesn't have the command coming off the disabled list. He missed 41 games.
I don't know about you, but the way that Tony has been mixing and matching lately, a little surprised that he didn't go with just a lefty-lefty, either one, either Johnson or Flores in that spot.
Well, it happened so quickly, you know, with the leadoff double. You know, I think that they were hopeful because Franklin kind of got up, started the inning with Looper. But I think they thought that he would retire the first man, Willingham, and when he got the double, then they said, okay, that's it. And it just happened to be that it was a left-handed batter facing, and Franklin the only one warming up.
Milwaukee at Arizona. Suppan and Brandon Webb just underway. Chicago at San Francisco. Barry Zito getting the start for the Giants. Rich Hill for the Cubs. Olivo, who is homer tonight, strikes out.
Milwaukee scored, so Brandon Webb's 42 inning streak is stopped.
Pitch by pitch brought to you by Chevrolet here on Miguel Olivo.
Fastball in there. You see, it looked like there's a slider. Another breaking ball, and puts him away.
You can appreciate this to an extent. The bullpen line for Baltimore in game 1 of their 30-3 loss. 4 innings pitched, 20 hits, 24 earned runs.
I can appreciate that.
I said to an extent. They walked 7, they struck out 7, and gave up 4 home runs and lost the game 30-3.
That's the first of 2 tonight in Baltimore.
Hermida has struck out a couple of times. Pittsburgh leading Colorado 6-0. That's in the bottom of the 2nd. Houston leading Washington 3-2. Woody Williams on the mound for the Astros. Cincinnati on top of Atlanta 4-2. That's in the bottom of the 8th. Jones and McCann have gone deep for Atlanta. Josh Hamilton a home run for Cincinnati.
Renteria left that game with an ankle injury, I believe.
Again, huh?
Yeah.
2 balls and 1 strike. We're in the 7th, 3-2 St. Louis. And a high fly ball into deep right field. This is trouble, and this one is out of here. The Marlins, with a 2-run shot by Jeremy Hermida, now lead it over St. Louis. It's 4-3. Rarely do you see that. Franklin coming in with the lead, and he gives it up.
Fastball that in the middle of the plate, in the wheelhouse, and one of the rare times that Franklin has had some trouble. It's the 5th home run he has allowed in 62 innings.
So the Cardinals again will have to come back with late inning dramatics. Down 4-3 here in the 7th.
And there was his problem was the 2 left-handed hitters, Jacobs and Hermida.
Curveball and a strike. 0-2. Hit out of play and foul. Another foul tip. Meziga stays alive, and a frustrated Ryan Franklin right now.
But you just gotta, gotta forget about that. You gotta hold them right there, keep it a one-run deficit, and allow your teammates to battle back. Nothing more demoralizing than coming in trying to get a hold or a save and walk away with an L.
Hermida, the two-run shot to give the Marlins a 4-3 lead. The 0-2 pitch. Tap foul again. Another pitch that's up into center field and a base hit. Good at bat. Meziga with a base hit up the middle with one out here in the seventh. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's see if Tony wants to get that bullpen active. Meziga with his first base hit following the home run by Hermida.
Look where the glove is, set up way inside, trying to, it's an 0-2 pitch, fouled off numerous ones, and look at the ball out over the plate. So 3 left-handed batters this inning have reached base via base hits. A couple singles, the big 2-run home run off of Franklin, and now Russ Springer starting to throw.
And now you've got Olsen hitting for himself, but as we told you, the pitch count not all that high.
And he's bunting, so I mean, it's a situation where even if you wanted to change pitchers, you didn't have to burn a player to do so. But nobody warming up in the bullpen for the Marlins, so I think he's still got plenty in the tank.
Out.
That helped.
Picked him off.
No excuse for that. So the Marlins continue to do little things to help the Cardinals, and picks him up here, tries to go the back half, but the snap throw, and he's out. Now you got the pitcher up, and hopefully you can get out of this and keep it a 4-3.
And a high fly ball lifted out to center. Edmonds, who just checked into the game, puts it away after the double switch. Jeremy Hermida with a 2-run homer off of Ryan Franklin. The Marlins with their first lead. They lead it 4-3. Edward Bauer is tonight's merchandise winner. The Hyundai long drive inning sweepstakes. If the Cardinals hit a home run here in the seventh, Edward Bauer qualifies for the Hyundai Sonata drawing in September. To register, visit a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer. Cardinals again will have to come back tonight. Marlins lead it 4-3, trying to snap their 7-game losing streak. And the Marlins come back on one of the Cardinals' best, Ryan Franklin. Only the third time in 53 appearances in which Franklin has allowed 2 or more runs. That's the kind of year he has had. He's been terrific. And it's Olsen now pitching into the seventh. Sonic pitch count only at 78 for the lefty starter of the Marlins.
And pitching for a lead for the first time tonight. His activity in the Marlins bullpen.
Pitch count, excuse me, at 79. And Scott Rowland leads it off. Rowland, Ludwig, and Molina. If anybody can reach, then Edmonds. First pitch is taken outside.
Lindstrom is a pitcher warming up, a right-hander.
Scott Rowland is popped out and grounded out. And he rips one out to deep left field, and this ball, one hops off the wall, and Rowland is digging for two. Throwing to second is offline, and the tying run is at second base.
That's how you answer. Everybody knows that Franklin's had a good year. It just had a rough inning, but you come out here and you say, can't do anything about Looper losing the win, but you can take this, Franklin off the hook and come out here and regain the lead, and a good start with a leadoff double.
There's the righty getting loose. Tying run at second. Go ahead run at the plate.
At Lindstrom.
I showed you the trot of Ludwig from last night's game. He hits it into shallow right, and the catch is made. So Ludwig trying to shoot it to the right side. Can't advance Scott Rowland. One out with a runner at second base. It's a big out. And here's Molina, who is homered and also hit into a double play. The home run hit down the left field line and just stayed fair back in the fifth.
Matt got the off-speed pitch and just kept it fair for his fourth home run of the year and the third home run this month.
Happy belated birthday to Gloria Shipbach. Doesn't miss a Cardinal game here on FSN. Molina, good rip, fouled back.
Olsen continues to fire strikes.
One thing he has done consistently tonight.
Yep. He hasn't walked a man. He's only struck out one in this ball game, but Cardinals really haven't been able to put together a big inning because of his scattering the 8 hits. And a couple times they got 2 hits in an inning, but no walks to compound it.
The 0-1 pitch. Molina hits it into left center field, and this game is tied. Yadier does it again. Now he's digging for 2. Molina delivers with the double. It's 4-4.
And had him played over into right center. So a long run for the center fielder. And Molina gets himself out in scoring position. Remember, Edmonds went in part of the double switch. So Jim Edmonds will be batting here after Molina ties it at 4-4. Another off-speed pitch. Waits back well on it. And then goes out and gets that low delivery and drives it out into left center.
And if this was a right-handed batter, you might think about going to the bullpen, but now the Marlins have the lefty-lefty matchup. Edmonds, his first plate appearance of the night, looks at a strike, part of a double switch in the top of the 7th. Franklin off the hook so far.
We talked about left-handed hitters are batting .320 off of Olsen. Righties came in at .290. Now a lot more home runs. 18 home runs from the right-handed batters, just 3 for lefties.
0-1 pitch to Edmonds. That one at 93 miles an hour, and Olsen looked to be unnerved after that double by Molina. He was upset.
Tankersley is the left-hander. It's joined Lindstrom.
Cardinals have tied it up 4-4 here in the 7th. Can Edmonds put him back on top? On deck, Brendan Ryan. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Tie it up, you might as well win it.
A 2-1 pitch. Make it 3-1.
Cardinal bullpen is 22-8. Brendan Ryan on deck.
Start of our game, we talked about the youth on both sides. Could Brendan Ryan be a hero tonight? Edmonds into deep right center field. At the track, it's at the wall. It's out of here. It's out of here. Home run for Edmonds. Oh, Jimmy with number 9. And it's 6-4 Cardinals.
You tie it up, you might as well win it. And this club has something to play for. They're playing with a lot of emotion, a lot of confidence. Freddie Gonzalez stuck a little bit too long with Olson, and Jim Edmonds got one of those high fastballs in a 3-1 hitters count, and he drives it out over the wall for the Cardinals' 3rd home run of the game. You can jump, young man.
Edmonds with number 9. Cardinals back on top. 6-4 here in the 7th. Ninth home run for Edmonds. 6-4 Cardinals. Florida scores 3 in the top of the 7th to take their first lead. The Cardinals come back with 3 of their own. And a pennant chase, and this team does not give in. Matt Lindstrom is the new pitcher for Florida's 55th appearance. The right-hander. They're called to the bullpen, brought to you by Chevrolet.
He's a rookie. The Mets gave up on him. He was acquired from the Mets, and for right-hander Henry Owens, with Henry Owens for left-hander Jason Vargas and left-hander Adam Bostic.
Here is Brendan Ryan now with 1 out. 96 from the right-hander.
And the Marlins broadcast team was telling me about they couldn't believe that the Mets would include Lindstrom in a deal because he's got a power arm.
Ryan down the right field line, slicing fair, on his way to second base, and the Cardinals with their 3rd double here in the bottom of the 7th.
Ryan continues to hit well and staying in the lineup. You know he's going to be someplace in there. You just don't know what position. And with Miles being away for the birth of his 2nd child, a little boy today, Jackson Tyler, Brendan kind of keeps on finding himself in the lineup and producing offensively.
Eckstein singled and was caught stealing back in the 3rd. Movement on that pitch at 96. How about Yadier Molina here in the month of August? 2 RBIs tonight, and he has got 12 in this month. Coming into play, he had a total of 27 on the year. Now, if you're Tony La Russa, do you stay with Franklin to pitch the 8th?
They've had Springer up this entire inning, so I think that's your answer.
Olson has now allowed 22 home runs on the year, most by any Marlins pitcher. Ball gets away. Ryan down to 3rd. Chancey play safe. They wanted to call him out, and he stays on the bag, then off the bag, then back on, and Freddie Gonzalez is going to have an argument. You could see where Bruce Fleming wanted to call him out. He was ready to punch him out, and then Ryan called safe.
I mean, I can't conceive of any way that Fleming comes up with. He could call him safe at one time, but then unless he's trying to say that he pushed him off the bag, but I don't think that was the case either.
And I think what he's saying, Al, you read into what we see on the screen, he's saying that this play right here where he slaps the hand knocks him off the bag. He just slides off the bag, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, and he also gives it away by trying to reach back for the bag. His momentum just carries him right on by. His leg came off the bag, and Cabrera stays with the tag, so the Cardinals really catch a break.
Infield is drawn in for Eckstein, and the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. Ryan at third now with 1 out. As Eckstein tried to bunt him in. And now there's 2 strikes. Runner at third. And why not 25 years later? Glenn Brummer stealing home. This state Cardinal history 25 years ago.
Sure, Brummer's there saying, "Oh, I could make it. Give me the green light." Why do you? If you don't give it to me, I'll just take it anyway.
2-2 pitch. Ooh, just missed. Gonzalez not happy one bit with that call either. This team on the verge of dropping their 8th consecutive game if they can't come back. A 3-2 pitch. Will throw down to third, and out is Brendan Ryan. And that right there is inexcusable.
He doesn't know he's called out. He was staying on the back, you know. Kindo had to push him away. Snap throw, getting back here. Drops a knee on him. Now Oliva feels like he's been grand clemency. Nice snap throw by Olivo, and I'm sure Brendan will hear a few more things about what happens with rookies.
Almost looked like he had snuck his hand underneath the tag, but irregardless, play like that can't be that close.
No.
And Brendan once again hearing it from the coaching staff.
Oh, he's, you know, when you like somebody, you always talk to him.
2 outs and a runner at first for Sotoguchi. You hope that doesn't come back to haunt the Cardinals with a 2-run lead.
Springer continues to throw in that bullpen.
And that will get Franklin off the hook, obviously, with what's taken place this inning. Snap throw down to first. And Olivo trying to do his best Yadier Molina impersonation. Two 2-0 the count on Sotoguchi with Pujols on deck. Take a couple of here with Pujols on deck.
I've seen a lot of times like this where soul comes through. 3-0. You got Albert on deck and everything. .93, so it looked like he backed the fastball down a little bit, trying to throw that strike.
The 3-1 pitch. Tap foul. Scott Olson, the starter, gives them 6 1/3 tonight.
Albert just trying to get as close as he can, try and get a little bit of read of what that looks like in the batter's box facing a pitcher.
Runner goes, and it's line foul. On our gun, that last pitch at 99.
Says 101 on the stadium gun. Pitch before was 97. I think you have to look for fastball.
The 3-2 runner goes again, and it's a breaking ball as Taguchi strikes out to end the 7th. But damage done for the Cardinals as they regain the lead. 3 doubles in the inning, But the big blow, the home run off the bat of Jim Edmonds. First plate appearance tonight, his 9th home run. 6-4, Cardinals on top. Well, if you're looking for great seats for the remainder of the season, always check out the Prime Seat Club at stocardinals.com. Safely purchase great seats owned by season ticket holders at the Prime Seat Club. Edmonds getting a nice round of applause out in center field. Tips his cap to the crowd. This is Russ Springer to pitch the 8th. Another sellout, 42,147. Edmonds' 9th home run and a 6-4 Cardinal lead.
6 outs to victory. You've got to go through some of their best bats.
And bunting into an out is Ramirez. Tagged out by Albert Pujols. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Why in the world, 5th best hitter in the National League with 23 home runs, and a guy capable of hitting the ball out of the ballpark, why would he bunt?
See if his manager has something to say to him as he trots off the field. Down by 2 runs. And a guy that has stung the ball a couple of times tonight. It doesn't make much sense.
Freddie may question him tomorrow.
Here's Dan Uggla.
I know his thing is, you know, you got to have base runners. But right there, you know, go out there. He's one of the best hitters. That's 335. You know, go out there and try and hit your way on it. And he's capable of hitting the ball out of the ballpark.
On the outside corner, 1 ball, 1 strike. Dan Uggla tonight is grounded out to third, fly to right, and singled back in the 6th. Cardinals got 2 in the 1st, 1 in the 5th, and 3 in the 7th, and lead it 6-4.
Marlins have 156 home runs of the year. They have over 1,000 strikeouts.
Spot that is due up second for the Cardinals is Springer's, and he just told Ann Keel to grab a bat. Diamondbacks have jumped out to a 2-1 lead on Milwaukee. Off the end of the bat, Pujols again steps on the bag, crowd number 2. Calling all youth dancers and cheerleaders. It's time for the 6th annual Team Fredbird Dance Clinic. This will be Saturday, September 1st. Team Fredbird will teach a 1-day dance clinic, and participants will perform on the field prior to the Cardinals-Reds game that night. One great price includes all this plus tickets to the game. For more information, visit stocardinals.com. Also, a number to call is 345-9413. Here's Miguel Cabrera. 2 outs, nobody on. Cabrera, a quiet night. Twice he has flied to right. He's also struck out.
Sometimes what he'll do is make a little adjustment. Well, he'll take a little wider stance and try and hit the ball the opposite field.
1-1. Springer, the 3rd pitcher used by the Cardinals tonight. Looper gave the Cardinals 6 innings. Pitched into the 7th. Then Franklin. The 1-1 pitch is taken for a ball outside, 2-1.
That's our little buddy we saw earlier. His dad was teaching him the game. About 8 innings, he's found everything. I know it all, Dad. Sit back. I'll just get up here and check everything out.
2-1 pitch. 2-2. Seemed to be a pitch right there over the middle of the plate that he could go hammering at. Cardinals have, it looks like, Tyler Johnson up and throwing, and he's getting loose for Jacobs, who is 2 spots down in the order following Cabrera. Cardinals will have Pujols in the bottom of the 8th. Pitcher spot, and then Rolen. And Rolen had a key hit in that 7th. The leadoff double to start it. 2-2. Hit 2 rolling. A charity hop. Throws on the run. Marlins go 1-2-3. Pujols leads it off when we return. Cardinals baseball on FSN Midwest is brought to you by Bud.tv, where entertainment is always on and only at www.bud.tv. By Chevrolet, meet the all-new Silverado 2007 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. See for yourself. Shop and compare at stlchevy.com. And by Vance Auto Parts, providing car care. Know how to protect your investment. We're ready in advance. Pujols on the first pitch, pops it foul. 6-4 St. Louis, bottom of the 8th.
This might be a good battle right here, but now that Lindstrom in his second inning of work, now that he's gotten ahead with a strike, he may not throw Albert another fastball.
Our low first base camera gets a breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Izzy is warming up, so can't think of another time where he's gone 3 days in a row.
No. Breaking ball hit to short. Ramirez. Last night in the 8th, a little different story. This one on a line. And Lindstrom gets Pujols, who's 2 for 4, and it brings in a pinch hitter, and this will be Duncan. Pujols, by the way, home runs in 5 consecutive games, and that's a first in his career. 5 consecutive.
7 times he had hit 4 home runs in 4 days. Let's see if Duncan can't just get something positive from here. Really struggling.
A broken bat. Backing up, it's Ramirez for out number 2.
Second consecutive day that Duncan, among others, out early taking extra hitting.
So Izzy will be called upon 3 consecutive games. The first game, 2 innings, 16 pitches, and last night, final inning, 17 pitches.
Be looking for save number 25.
Breaking ball and a strike to Scott Rowland. Albert always making fans happy, and that one going into hysterics.
Well, and a lot of the players, including Albert and Didi, went to visit the area children's hospitals. My wives went with the players, 3 different groups. Went to the Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital and the Shriners Hospital. The Cardinal families had bought Cardinal bears, and they autographed them and gave them out to the patients. Great job. Did that this morning.
2 balls, 1 strike on Scott Rowland. What a thrill. Three and 1. Ludwig on deck. In the ninth, the Marlins will have Willingham, Jacobs, and Olivo. Three-two pitch taken inside for ball 4. Right fielder Ryan Ludwig started this game and left after the double switched was moved to right. Giants have jumped out to a 1-0 lead over the Cubs. That's in the second.
Talked about Diamondbacks batting in the bottom of the fourth. They lead Milwaukee 2-1. But the news there is Milwaukee's one run breaks Brandon Webb's 42-inning scoreless streak. They got their first run, I believe, in the first inning.
Figure if Ludwig could go deep, Isringhausen would sit down and try to get somebody up quickly and get loose.
Wouldn't be a save opportunity then, so that's the thinking. Up with 2 outs, who do you get up quick enough?
Yeah.
You know, you had Tyler Johnson up earlier. He'd be the only one that would probably be able to get ready quick enough. And as a reliever, a lot of times you the mindset, you got to believe that you could just walk straight in from the bullpen and be ready with your 8 warm-up pitches. Never happened, but you've got to think that way, that you could do it.
Two balls, 1 strike. Tails in there for strike 2. Let's see where this guy throws hard with movement.
I mean, in the Mets organization, it's 11th rounder in the 2002 first-year player draft.
Two pitch, swing and a miss. We head to the 9th. Cardinals with a 2-run lead. Trying to make it 2 straight over the Marlins and 3 wins overall. Izzy coming in when we come back. Jason Isringhausen, the Cardinals closer, trying to finish this one off. Cardinals leading by the score of 6-4, and at home, Izzy has had a bounce back year. 11 for 11 in save opportunities in night home games. Only 2 earned runs in 17 innings pitched. From the boos of last year now to a guy that the Cardinals love to see at the end of a game, and give him credit for what he went through last year. The fact he didn't say a word, the team didn't want to say anything about it because you're giving away what would be an advantage because of that sore hip. You could bunt on him, you could do different things against him, couldn't really move, and yet he didn't say one word about it. The fact that he was hurt, and now he has had a bounce back season, really an all-star type year.
All-time saves leader in Cardinal history, and looking for save number 198 as a Cardinal.
In the left, 1 pitch, 1 out. That'll help out.
Absolutely. Well, the one thing they talk about this Marlins club is they really don't change their attack. It doesn't matter if it's a soft tossing guy or a hard thrower. They just go up there pumping and everybody trying to hit the ball of the ballpark. That can work to your advantage.
One out, and the first pitch is a strike. June of 2005, on the 17th, 18th, and 19th, Isringhausen had saves against Tampa Bay. Last time he has had 3 consecutive saves. 2005.
And I think this year that's been one of the blessings early part of the year where the Cardinals just didn't have many save opportunities for him. As a matter of fact, almost as many opportunities he had to go out and pitch in non-save opportunities just to get some work in, but it really allowed the hip to heal.
In the air to right center, Edmonds out number 2.
He was able to pitch and keep that solid foundation, keep that hip without putting undue stress on it.
How important too is it, Al, that the other teams you're chasing playing on the West Coast, and all of a sudden they look up and see a 6-4 win?
Yeah, that's big time.
Got one of the most experienced managers on the right, Tony La Russa, one of the least experienced managers on the left. Marlins on the verge of dropping their 8th straight game if Isringhausen can close it out.
Tony will tell you that, you know, he's got a lot of respect for Freddie Gonzalez, but Tony will also tell you he likes the way his team is closing out this situation.
Breaking ball taken outside just a bit. 1 ball, 1 strike. Post-game show is coming up. Olivo, a count of 1 ball, 1 strike. Make it 1-2.
Send this thing on your 8th pitch, and then you could be ready for 4 in a row tomorrow.
I was about to say, if he has this efficient 9th, which it's setting up to be, you bring him back tomorrow possibly. One and 2 on Olivo. Another curveball in the dirt. 2-2. If the Cardinals can hold on, 1 game shy of 500.
And would be 5 games over 500 at home. Talk about those increments of 5.
2-2 pitch. Olivo homered off of Looper back in the 2nd inning. Looper had set down the first 5 he saw, and then the solo home run by Olivo was his 12th on the year.
He's trying to get to 300 saves in his career. And he's knocking on the doorstep of 200 as a Cardinal. Tony's trying to knock on Reds.
2-2 pitch.
Cutter out there. Good pitch. Olivo went out and got it. Inside fastball. Tried to overthrow it a little bit.
Hermina on deck and put the Marlins on top briefly back in the 7th with a 2-run homer. Last thing he wants to do is walk him.
You're right.
A 3-2 pitch.
Got a break there.
Sure did. That was ball 4.
Couldn't get out of the way of ball 4 and hit his bat.
Isringhausen, when he first got to the Cardinals, was throwing mid-90s. Now it's lower 90s, but terrific location. The cutter has improved in his time here in St. Louis. Lots of movement and a very good breaking ball.
Curveball's a pitch sometimes he forgets about. There he wants the cutter.
The 3-2 in the air to center field. This will do it. The Cardinals have taken the first 2 and they win it 6-4. Cardinals get home runs tonight from Pujols, Molina, and the big one from Jim Edmonds. Player of the game is coming up next. 6-4 our final from Busch. Olsen is now 9-11. The save for Isringhausen is 25th, and the Cardinals win it by the score of 6-4. They've now won 3 straight and 2 in a row over the Florida Marlins. Our player of the game, lots of choices. We're going to go with the starter tonight. That's Braden Looper. Pitches into the 7th. Had a chance to win this game.
Yeah, he pitched very, very well. He gave up the solo home run to Oliva, And then as the second run, he was charged against him when it came in when he was out there. He struck out 5 Marlins. They strike out an awful lot, but he really went out there and attacked the strike zone. His pitch count was relatively low, but because it's the first year in the rotation, career high, you know, he's making his 24th career start here today. You know, you're going to kind of watch him the rest of the way, but very easily he could have gotten the victory, but more importantly, the team did.
April 26 was the last time the Cardinals were just 1 game below 500, a chance to make it an even 500 tomorrow night. We send it over to Pat Paris in the postgame show.
Guys, looking forward to catching up with you in just a couple of minutes. Thank you very much. The game is over, of course, a Cardinal victory. We are just getting started here on Budweiser Cardinals Live. Coming up, while the teams leading the division play late at night, the Cardinals continue to try to make up ground in the NL Central. And we'll bring you Tony La Russa's post-game comments and go all access inside the Cardinals clubhouse. Plus, we've got a Cardinals milestone that you'll want to run home to see. It's all just 90 seconds away on Budweiser Cardinals Live.
Welcome to Cardinals Live, presented by Budweiser.
Another sellout crowd of over 42,000 Cardinal fans leave with grins on their faces as they see the hometown Redbirds take care of the Marlins. 6-4, the final score from here at Busch Stadium. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cardinals Live, presented by Budweiser. I'm Pat Paris. Plenty of post-game reaction to this victory coming up. In fact, former Cardinal hurler Ricky Horton will join me with analysis. We'll go downstairs and listen to Tony La Russa's comments and bring you all access pass inside the Cardinals clubhouse for reaction. First, though, it's right back down to the field. Jim Hayes standing by with Albert Pujols, our Mid-America Chevrolet dealers player of the game. Cat?
Home run number 30 for Albert Pujols tonight. 5 straight games with a home run. And Albert, after that successful road trip, you guys said if you didn't come home and win, it was all for nothing. You come home, you get back-to-back wins over the Marlins.
Well, definitely. I mean, they have a young thing over there, but you know, they know how to play the game. They're real aggressive. They have good bullpen and good pitching, so you can't take them for granted. We're just gonna come here every day and just try to play hard, you know. So and that's what we've been doing the last 2 weeks.
Big night for you. Also a big night for Yadi, whose bat has really come alive. I think over his last 23 games, he's hitting close to 370. When he's hitting the ball like that, what's he doing right?
Well, I don't know. Ask him. Don't ask me. So obviously he's using the whole field. Last night he got a couple of base hits to right field. Today he used the middle and then he pulled the ball to left field line. So I mean, obviously that'll tell you something, that he's doing something good at the play, because he's using the whole field and he don't get full.
I know you're not looking at numbers, but 5 straight games with a home run. Is that a question of you seeing the ball or just feeling better? Because I know you deal with a lot of injury.
Just blessed, man. You know, I'm getting good pitch here and just putting a good swing. So the same swing that I was putting April and May and June, and obviously I just getting better breaks right now.
Albert, thanks for the time.
All right.
Albert Pujols continues his home run binge. Guys, back to you.
Jim, thanks very much. Time for a view from the booth, and it's back up to Dan and Al. And Albert Pujols, you know, one of the stars of the game, but I think Yadier Molina, guys, obviously is really contributing, especially the last 2 nights.
Well, you take a look at really the last week or so, and he's got 3 home runs, and here in the month of August with 12, which is just about half of his total, now with 29 on the season. Also, Al, another key factor, the pitching has been good, starting pitching, but how about at the end of games? We're going to focus here on Jason Isringhausen. That's 3 consecutive games that he has picked up saves. First time he's done that since June of 2005.
Yeah, he gets number 25 here tonight, and the bullpen is anchored by Izzy, the all-time Cardinal save leader. See a fastball right there. You know, the first pitch, he gets a fly ball out to left. Now he gets a cutter coming in there, he gets fly ball to center, and he closes it out with another cutter. It was up a little bit. He only threw, what, 12 pitches? And so I'm sure if you ask him tomorrow, and usually what Tony and Dave Duncan do is they won't commit to somebody. They may say, you know, we want to give him a day off, but they'll wait till they throw a little bit, play catch, and then they'll determine whether he'll be available tomorrow. But if you ask Izzy, he'll say, I'm ready.
Al, one of the reasons that this team looks dangerous right now is Pujols is red hot, 5 consecutive games with a home run. Scott Rowland had a big key double in the 7th that started that rally with 3 runs, but also Jim Edmonds. MV3 has come alive here in the last month or so.
Yeah, Jimmy got the big home run that kind of sealed the deal and was the game winner home run. But, you know, it's just contributions from everybody. You know, you can't discount what everybody's doing, but the big three are the ones that are going to have to do most of the damage because they're getting most of the money, most of the responsibility, and they're accepting it right now.
Well, Pat, a little later in the show, we'll take a look at Anthony Reyes as the Cardinals look for a sweep tomorrow night.
Has a good ring to it. Guys, thanks very much. We will catch up with you later here on Budweiser Cardinals Live. Quick look at the highlights now, and in case you missed any of it or you just like to relive it, Marlins Cardinals game 2 of the 3-game set. First inning, Albert Pujols with a runner on continues that toward home run pace. 5th dinger in the last 5 games. Cards off to the early 2-0 lead. 30th homer for Pujols. Bottom 5 bases empty. Yadier Molina hooking. Will it stay fair? It just does. That's his 4th of the season. Cards have the 3-1 lead off Scott Olsen. Top 7 Cards lead 3-2. Runner on second. Jeremy Hermida pulls the Ryan Franklin pitch deep to right field. 2-run shot. Marlins take their first lead at 4-3. Bottom 7 rolling on second. Yadier Molina. He delivers with the RBI double. The hot bat continues for him, tied at 4. And the next guy up, Jim Edmonds, pinch hitting, and this one really a no-doubter. Crushes it to right center field. 2-run shot. Cards retake the lead at 6-4. Number 9 for Edmonds. And then it's a matter of the bullpen shutting it down from there. Springer, Izzy combined to a shutout the Marlins over the last 2 innings, and Jason Isringhausen does pick up his 25th save of the season. Russ Springer gets the victory as the Cardinals improve now to 1 game below 500 for the first time since April 26th. Right now we want to head downstairs. Tony La Russa stepping to the mic to talk to the media.
No, I don't know how I'd say it. I just think we got ahead with some clutch hitting, and then that was a great rally in the 7th. And actually, I think the rally picked up the manager because I think I screwed up that 7th inning. So, sure glad I didn't have to regret it all night long.
Is it a little, I mean, I know part of the answer is how you feel about talking about power, but when you think about Albert doing something for 7 years that nobody else has done for more than 4, I mean, is that a little mind-boggling? Or
Yeah, I think since his rookie year, you know, he's had a scratch on our head and amazement at the quality of his baseball. I mean, it's not just his hitting. You watch how he plays defense and how he runs the bases. I mean, but one way you measure how great a player is in our game is you can compare some of the numbers with history, and I mean, this is consistency. It speaks of strength of mind, I think. Competitiveness more than talent.
So what do you regret in the 7th inning?
I just, you know, I knew what I was thinking, you know, making the move to Franklin, but it wasn't the best move. You know, I should have gone with Johnson. So I played that wrong and paid the price, and fortunately, we overcame it.
Was he at all still tired from Sunday, or just Franklin?
No, I just pitched him the 8th inning like I should have pitched Johnson. He would have been fine. But I mean, how many times? I don't want to keep saying I screwed up because I mean I got to go to sleep tonight. So I've already said it a couple of times. I don't want to say it anymore. But I did, and it wasn't because he was tired. It was just he was used improperly.
You want to use him for 2 innings?
Huh?
Last.
No, I was just playing outs there. I mean, I knew what I was thinking, and I mean, it wasn't the dumbest thing I ever did, but it isn't the best move.
Hi.
Yeah.
Will you use Izzy tomorrow?
Depends how he feels. You know, he came out today, played catches. I actually feel better today than he did yesterday. You know, he had 1, 2, 3 ninth. I mean, one of the things that's happened is we haven't been a consistent winning club. Is he's had a lot of rest all year, so if he's got even the slightest negative whether in any place, no, we'll go some other way, but no use to say it now. Hey, so we have the lead, where we got the issue.
How big aside from Yadi's defense, which is great all year, but how much of a lift when he's as hot as he is right now offensively?
I mean, it's game-winning hits. But, you know, he's had that ability, and when he's just getting a few hits, he makes his hits count. His RBI total has always been impressive. He likes it with men on base. So, but that's, I mean, that's clutch as you can get what he's done here for a while now, you know. Makes it tough to wrestle. I mean, here I was got a tough call tomorrow because Gary's ready to play, and this guy's playing in, you know, championship quality. So, let's sleep on that one.
What did you think about Looper tonight?
Well, I thought he was outstanding. You know, just we've got into this part of the year where I think it's a little vulnerable there, and you want to give the bullpen a chance to make a mistake. So I think he was outstanding. Got us into the 7th inning. You know, you always regret when guy pitches that well and he doesn't get the winning decision if we win.
You look at the past, however long, couple of years even. I mean, it seems like one of the things that happens when y'all are playing real well is you're getting that production, particularly from Yadier. I mean, do you think it's fair to look at him as, to some extent, kind of a pivotal guy offensively?
Well, I don't look at it that way. I mean, that's why I don't look at it like Albert that way. I mean, not one guy. He's going to give you enough production to win a lot of games. But when we have a bunch of guys that are dangerous, I mean, look what Scott did in Chicago, and look what he did yesterday, look what he did today. I mean, so Scott Rowland's involved, Aaron Miles. So, but there's no doubt that you got 8 position players, and the more of them that are having good at bats, and he's having as good at bat as anybody.
Jim's taking more good at bats.
Yeah, he's feeling good. I mean, he's done. Coming off the bench is not the easiest thing for him, but that was a huge blow against a tough left-hander. I mean, you got talent, man. You never know what you can do. And he has talent.
Tony, it looked like Albert a little bit gimpy, running around the bases and all that. Are there any? He's obviously still producing, but are there any more concerns beyond just the normal aches and pains with him?
Well, I'm real concerned. I mean, we came that close to pulling him, and it's only because of his credibility. I mean, he went down there. Barry gave him a really good exam. And we were really on the side of let's not take any chances. And he said, let me just go out there and play defense. I'll be careful, which is what he's done before. He knows how to play careful. In fact, we talked about if he got on base in the 8th inning, pinch running for him, and he was smart to say, well, who's going to play defense? With a 2-run lead. I said, well, will you go trot base to bases? Yeah. So I was going to let him run the bases. But now it's 24 hours later or whatever, 20 hours later when he comes back and stuff stiffens. And that'll be a major concern tonight. See how he feels. He felt something in the upper part of his back of his leg as he made the swing, I think. So that's why he couldn't get to second base. So that'll be. It.
That's Tony La Russa's comments live from downstairs after a Cardinals 6-4 victory. When we come back, much more on tonight's victory and the King of the Hill. Who might it be? Ricky Horton will help me decide next on FSN.